America is on the go, and wheels are turning. More things to do, more pleasures to enjoy, more sights to see. On turning wheels. Turning, turning, turning. Inside the invisible circle. But that's the secret in our story. Secret for the moment. It relates to all who use the streets and highways, and not alone to those who travel on 2 wheels instead of 4. It has, however, closer kinship with the mounting trend to travel on 2 wheels, for work, for pleasure, and convenience. A trend that's much in evidence in every section of the nation. This is Boston in the state of Massachusetts. Here, motorcycling is a great and growing sport, among the most popular on wheels today. Among those who enjoy 2-wheeled motoring, so accepted in New England, are homemakers, like this one, for doing their daily errands. New York City. A common sight is a young businessman who finds it is fun to whittle busy city traffic down to size. Chicago. The famous Twin Towers form a background for another scene that's becoming more familiar every day. A cyclist on his way to work. Here, many ball players find a motorcycle is a good way to short hop the time it takes to get from home to the dome. Houston, Texas. World-famous space center and home of baseball's only indoor team. They call Las Vegas the entertainment capital of the world. Today, motorcycling has added a twin bill to the fun folks have always found under this glamorous sun. San Francisco, the city by the bay. Here, hill climbing is not just a weekend sport. It's the only way to get around. Even cowboys in Hollywood have taken to riding the studio's backlot range this new and fun way. Seems to me I recognize that fellow. Pick any college campus and you'll find America's greatest concentration of motorcycles. College students make up a large number of the new breed of riders. Yes, today's new motorcycle riders do come in most all sizes and shapes, from homemakers in New England to Long Beach Navy personnel, who find that getting from the base to home can be quick and fun. Hello, I'm Peter Brown. When they asked me to say a few words about this film, I jumped at the chance, and that's because it's about motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles for a good number of years, as have many of my friends in the motion picture business. Out here in Hollywood, we're called upon to ride most everything that moves, including the 1 horsepower that I get around on at times. But when riding is strictly for fun, this is the mount that I choose. Now, about the invisible circle. If you're an experienced rider, a beginner, or just interested in this fast-growing sport, I'm sure that you'll pick up a riding tip or two just watching. I know I did. And if you live in America, motorcycles are fast becoming a very big part of your life. If you don't own one or even ride one occasionally, you're certain to meet one, at least every day, in the traffic. And that's why the invisible circle is important to you.
For the last time, no motorcycle.
But, Dad!
Roy, your mother and I consider motorcycles too dangerous.
Dangerous? I read where motorcycles are about the safest thing on wheels. I was talking to this police officer the other day, and he said...
Okay, we'll both see a police officer. If he says motorcycles can be safe, we'll discuss the matter further.
So you see, Mr. Thomas, we take the position that every vehicle, even the family automobile, is only as safe as the operator. That's why we stress the proper safety and operational instruction for the beginning driver.
That makes sense.
Whether Roy here gets his motorcycle or not is strictly a family affair. Police records, as recorded by the National Safety Council, indicate that the leading causes of motorcycle accidents are right-of-way violations, following too close, reckless driving, and speed. However, you may like to know that a motorcycle, by its very design, has a number of safety features built in.
I told you, Dad.
Consider the unlimited visibility, the quick responsive handling, and of course the simple controls always close at hand.
Points I hadn't considered, I'll admit.
Roy, if you do get a motorcycle, a lot depends on the way you ride it. I'd like to pass along a personal tip. Try to ride within what I call the circle for safety. It's up to you to keep all dangerous situations on the outside of this circle, in front, behind, and on both sides. Here, Roy, take along this safety pamphlet. It'll give you some tips on courtesy and rules of the road.
Roy got his motorcycle, and he also received free instruction on its operation from a qualified instructor. This is a service most motorcycle dealers are happy to provide. It's the right and safe way to begin. Learning to operate a motorcycle doesn't take long. The controls are not complicated.
Night riding always means caution. Slow down, take it easy, and make certain that all lights are in working order.
After he thoroughly understands the controls and the purpose of each one, Roy is ready to solo. The area where he is learning is as free as possible from traffic and busy intersections. He drives slowly at first, upright and relaxed. His motorcycle moves straight ahead. Looks simple? It is. Of course, as speed increases, Roy must learn to lean his body in the direction of the turn.
After learning to ride, it takes practice, and more practice, before a beginner is ready to become part of the busy traffic scene.
Like most boys, Roy grew up on a bicycle. He found that an engine-powered two-wheeler can handle almost as easily as a bike. He uses his brakes wisely. Combined front and rear wheel braking is safest. Since the front brake is the most powerful, the rear brake must be applied first, then the front. Roy anticipates his slowing down or stopping in advance. As he stops, his right foot holds the motorcycle upright, and the front brake is applied to keep him from moving forward. Water. Be alert. Slow down on any slippery surface, and ride upright. Leaning is an invitation for a skid. A hand throttle on a motorcycle is much more sensitive than an automobile's foot pedal. Remember, too much throttle will cause the rear wheel to spin. Roy is especially cautious as he approaches an automobile's so-called blind spot, where he may be hidden from the driver's view. A motor car making an unexpected right turn can create a hazard also. The cyclist must be extremely alert if he plans to pass on the right. Obviously, a motorcycle is much smaller than an automobile or a truck. Even a driver who is careful to check the traffic around his vehicle sometimes finds it hard to spot a motorcycle. So, Roy, using a safety trick of his own, pretends that an automobile driver cannot see him, that he is invisible. This simple device helps him drive for the other fellow, a very useful safety trick. A cyclist might just as well be invisible when hidden by larger vehicles, especially at a signal. Make certain the cross street has cleared before you move out. When other vehicles stop, there is usually good reason. Proceed with caution. Danger may come in a small package. A little girl, or any pedestrian in a crosswalk means wait. And wait an extra second to make certain all is clear. A ball rolling into the street means the same old thing. Look out. There may be a child behind it. A motorcyclist learns from the beginning that automobiles do not have to be moving to present a hazard. Be especially watchful when riding close to a row of parked cars. In slow-moving traffic, automobiles sometimes park on the spot to unload passengers. Passengers unloading is a common city traffic problem. Be ready. Tracks are always a hazard, but not necessarily an unexpected one, if the rider is alert and drives far enough ahead. The wheel should cross at a wide angle. The truck is turning left, and once again Roy is hidden at an intersection. He cannot be seen by oncoming or left-turning traffic. This time from the motorist's point of view. Do you see Roy? Neither does the automobile driver. Roy is learning to look for signs of certain danger. When car wheels turn, look out. The driver may suddenly turn out. A common hazard to all motorcyclists is a grease strip that runs down the center of any traffic lane. Notice Roy moves slightly off-center, off the slippery grease. A must for every cyclist is never ride the white line, and always be alert for a possible traffic squeeze by lane-changing automobiles. Never ride into a space where the way out is not clearly seen. Roy's low-cost investment to become a two-mirror rider tells him to slow down and let a close-following automobile pass. Merging traffic causes Roy to tailgate or follow too closely, so he slows down and widens his invisible circle for safety. Roy is riding at an even 20 miles per hour. He was told that at this speed, his invisible circle reaches out about 45 feet in front. Now, at 40 miles an hour, his invisible circle reaches out some 140 feet, or considerably more than double. Simply stated, as speed increases, increase the invisible circle for safety. In heavy stop-and-go traffic, the shoulder of this traffic lane may look inviting to a cyclist on his highly maneuverable machine, a good place to get ahead of the traffic. But the safe rider plays it safe, stays in his lane. Shoulder passing is illegal in many states. In all states, it's dangerous.
Hi.
Hi, I see you're becoming an old hand at the throttle.
I'm learning. How about a spin after class?
Sure, maybe I can even give you a few driving tips.
Yes, such as?
Such as being a little more careful where you park. Never sit in on an oil or grease spot. It's almost as bad as hitting grease on the road when you drive it.
I'll move it.
Another tip, you need a helmet.
Not so sure I like the looks of one.
No? Tell me what looks so bad.
On you, it's different. I'm not the type for bows.
Private conversation, or can anyone offer advice?
Hi, Professor.
You were talking about wearing a helmet for protection.
I was. Roy isn't so sure.
The helmet was the first piece of safety equipment I bought when I first started riding a motorcycle. I figured if I ever got into a situation where I would need a helmet, I wouldn't have time to go out and buy one.
Oh, it's not a bad idea, but...
I guess the fact that I teach history convinced me.
History?
Uh-huh. Today, of course, you see safety helmets on police officers, race drivers, and even Susan here. But it all started back in the pages of this history book. Since recorded history, man has always worn protective headgear. And, as you can see, from the time of the Greeks, helmets can be a mighty attractive as well as a mighty necessary safety accessory.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Fine, I'll help you pick one out. And while we're at it, you'll need some gloves and a nice bright windbreaker so you'll be easy to see on the road.
How about my glasses? Are these safe enough, or do I need a new pair?
That depends on where you look.
See what you started with your helmet talk, Professor?
Roy and Susan join those who have discovered how much fun the getting there can be on a motorcycle. Safe, too, when a few simple, common-sense rules are followed. There is a right way to approach left turns. First, enter the left traffic lane, or move closer to the center, well in advance. Then, of course, signal your intent. Roy makes a quick look behind before the turn. A contrast that's becoming more common every day. Susan and Roy mounted on today's modern horsepower, and a working cowboy mounted on Western America's earliest form of transportation. Now Roy and Sue are off the beaten path. They find that off the main highway, motorcycling is an exciting adventure, an easy way to get back to nature. And because of the unlimited visibility, the scenery takes on a completely new perspective. Even though traffic is limited, Roy and Sue must make it a point when they ride side by side to take up no more space than would normally be occupied by a four-wheeled vehicle. Here, they are obviously using too much road. attention to riding at all times. That's our Roy. Oh, well, it's true. You do meet the nicest people. In the city, water or grease may make the surface slick. In the country, it may be loose gravel and ruts. In either case, the rule is the same. Reduce speed and ride upright. Private roads. So this rider does not enter. Common courtesy, common sense. There are thousands of off-highway riding miles to explore. In forests, mountains, beaches, and deserts. Without entering restricted areas such as watersheds, freshly seeded ranges, or high fire areas. When in doubt, or if you know it's private property, ask permission. Riding America's trails on a motorcycle is a new and exciting sport. Riders on specially geared machines are taking to the trails in ever-increasing numbers. Hunters, fishermen, explorers, and mechanized hikers find they must follow a few simple rules, too. They are careful not to ride over areas which motor vehicles may damage, such as soft soil and steep hillsides, where the topsoil might easily break down. Veteran trail riders always obey signs and fences and respect domestic as well as wildlife. A spark arrestor which fits over the exhaust system is necessary equipment for trail riding motorcycles. The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Many cowboys today have traded their four-footed mounts for the motor-powered two-wheel variety. Most state and national parks welcome motorcycle riders who observe the fundamental rules of safety. If you visit a park that has printed rules and regulations available, read them. It's tempting to point out the beauty of nature, but it isn't safe, Sue, to take those hands off a motorcycle steering bar or to divert another rider's attention from the road. Notice that Roy and Sue are riding slightly off-center to stay away from the middle strip of loose sand. Lush green forests and sparkling waterfalls may mean damp, slippery pavement. Susan and Roy's hand signal cautions that they are reducing speed. Parking a motorcycle is never a problem, and parking before looking is always the safe way. Roy and Sue understand that they are able to manage their motorcycle mounts much easier than the folks mounted on horseback. So they stop and allow horse riders to pass. Common courtesy, common safety. And, of course, only horses, not motorcycles, belong on a bridle path. Stay on your own road. Roy and Susan would like to pass this slower-moving vehicle. But since they cannot see around the curve in front, they must stay back and pass later. This goes for hills, too. That truck makes it a good rule. Once again, if you can't see it, don't try it. Besides convenience and economy, motorcycling has become so popular because it's just plain fun. And it's safe, when a few simple rules are followed. Remember, rules, laws, and safety tips only go hand in hand with common courtesy and common sense. So use your head as well as your throttle when you ride.
I had a wonderful time.
So did I. Can I see you tomorrow?
Why don't you give me a call?
Okay.
Hello, Roy. How's that circle for safety working for you?
Real good. It sure keeps me alert.
Well, it's the only way to ride.
Remember, the basic rules are, be especially careful at intersections and right-of-ways. Never follow too closely. And reckless driving and excessive speed are always dangerous. Stay well within the invisible circle for safety when you ride. And you will find that a modern motorcycle is among the safest vehicles on the road today.